Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure to open this day again. I'm feeling somehow I'm dominating you, but I will keep it short. Okay, so the theme today is co-creation. And as I said already yesterday morning, for some reason the co-creation, open innovation, and the mass customization communities are merging. And what I will do with this opening talk is really give you a little bit an introduction, what is co-creation, show you why it's perhaps coming up now. And then Marcel will give you some real practice cases from his real experience, I think, not just talking about co-creation, but doing it. And so hopefully we have a nice overlap in the morning. Okay, I don't know who knows what this is. The cloud score. Some of you know the cloud score. So this is my cloud score, 58. And there's this American company, a cloud score, and they calculate a cloud score for every one of you. So every one of you has such a score, given that you are on either Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Xing. And this score, which goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the top, and I think 100 is only Justin Bieber, the teeny star. He has 100, and the average human being has 18 to 20, so I'm pretty sure it was 58. I'm very proud on that, much better than A+ journal papers. And if you check in with a cloud score above 50 in the US, in a Marriott hotel, they will give you a free upgrade. As they know, if you're a loyal customer, well, you're loyal anyway. But if you have a good cloud score, you will tweet about your upgrade to all of your friends. You will share it in Facebook, and so really spreads the word. So the cloud score company, they say, we really calculate a standard value of every human being in social media. And it shows, it's quite interesting that is, what I don't understand is why I'm influential about marriage. I have no idea. This came up, the customization and co-creation with marriage, but for some reason the algorithm thinks like that. And it is just an opening to show you that really the individual consumer, small people, really have power somehow, and somehow is measuring this power. And the idea of co-creation is somehow to bring this power we have as consumers in social media now towards product creation and value creation. And so the idea is, could we, and we all know that social media is really changing the way how we communicate with companies, among each other, how we advertise. And can this change social product development? So as an opening case, perhaps Ben Kaufman. And one of you who were in San Francisco of the conference met one of his employees, John Jacobson. And Ben Kaufman was an entrepreneur, and when he was like 23 years old, he had this idea that he said, well, I should make a company that should allow everyone to really become a creator, but not just to design products, but also profit from selling the products to others. And his vision is to launch every 4 days a new product. And a big consumer product, not just a small product. And he's about in reaching this goal. So how does it work? His insight was that traditionally, if you are a designer or some just to have a creative idea, perhaps on the most perfect umbrella, let's say you have an idea of the most perfect umbrella, then traditionally you would need at least $200,000 to bring your idea into practice, to make a prototype, to get a first production run, certification, and so on. And he said that $200,000 really is too much for most people, and so they don't innovate.
Very exciting.
Good morning. And so he said this $200,000 is too much for most people. And so even if you have a good idea, you will not innovate. But he said there are many of them. And if you have a good idea, you can bring it to Quirky on this platform. And for this you even pay a fee. So to give him your idea, you have to pay $99. And about 200 people giving him ideas. And the only requirement is that the product resulting from the idea should retail for less than $150, and it should not have integrated software. So the next iPhone is not possible. And then there are about 100,000 plus people that look on these ideas, and it looks like this. That the ideas coming up here, and then you have 1 week time, and these 100,000 plus people vote on the ideas. And the 4 best ideas they take in the next round. And then in the next round, the team of Quirky looks at the ideas. They will some engineers, and they decompose this idea into small sub-problems. And some sub-problems they solve by themselves. Others they give to the crowd, like industrial design. Industrial design is perfectly doing in the crowd. There's a lot of people who have knowledge on industrial design. People submit again proposals, they vote on the best, they integrate it, and then after about 2 weeks, they get a rendering. They have 2 contract manufacturers in China, they make a calculation, and then they say, okay, if we bring this product to the market, we need 550 people investing in it. So they are doing crowdfunding to get the investment from the community for the first production round. And then they bring it to market. And these are some of these. This was the very first product they launched. And all the products are, they are really not saving the world, but they are nice products, you know, kitchen items, a lot of travel items, gadgets. And like this is a tripod for your iPhone, for your cell phone camera, and so on. And it's really successful. They got much more than $80 million venture capital for this idea. And why are people giving them $80 million? As actually they don't need the money, as everything is done by the community. And but it's growing tremendously. And the nice thing of Quirky is that they found a way to really tap into the intelligence of other people and really bring it from an idea to a product. Now you may have things, so why are all these people contributing? Well, for everything what you do on the side, you get points. And depending on the points, you get a payoff of the product. And 30% of the gross margin, which is a lot for a consumer product, is shared with the community. So this is an example. This is one of the successful products. Also, it's a flexible extension cord. So if you have a lot of, these adapters here, you can all plug them in. It really solves a problem for crowded workspace. So for this, 855 people contributed. So we had a product development team of 855 people, and they all earn money when selling it. And they shared, so the one who invented it, he got 20, but now he got already more than $500,000. So here's a lot of people that were just submitting an idea. They now got up to $500,000 without any risk, but paying $99 as a submission fee. And so what Quirky really is showing, it really brings this crowdsourcing model, we'll come to that in a second, to another level. So it's not just really getting ideas from people, but really turning them into businesses, and enabling everyone who has an idea to really bring it to market with very low risk. On the other side, they don't need market research. They don't need trends cards. They need some industrial designers to really internally, consolidate these things, bring it to market, manage manufacturing, but they don't really need creative designers to come up with the outside and so on. That's all done by the community. And also, but for this, they really fairly share with the contribution. However, the interesting point was, the more successful Quirky is getting, the more close they are becoming. So now, after they got the 80 million funding, or the 60 million, they had already 20 million before, after they got the last 60 million, so now they don't share this any longer. So there seems to be some tension if the company is getting through successfully, that perhaps people say, well, then we want to have more money there. So, and perhaps also the tax office came and said, oh, I saw you got $500,000, where's your tax bill? And so perhaps they also don't put it there for this reason. No, anyway. But we also see it's not so easy. So over the time while I was observing Quirky, they were a very open model, and now getting a little bit more closer how they organize. So Quirky is probably one of the most extreme cases of co-creation. Really an entire business system is based on external cooperation. If we see a little bit on the background, what is behind, well, the insight is, as I said, people innovate. All people innovate. And we know that people come up with very crazy innovations, or even that one. So, but these people, these are freaks. And I don't know really, these products probably never will make it on Quirky. As the community says, well, funny idea, but I will not invest my time or funding into this. But there are some people that are so-called lead users. And these are innovators that innovate, but that come up with products that are really appealing to a large group of people. And so the lead user paradigm was described in the literature, some of you may know, in the 70s, so it's really old. But it's really just coming into place today, as only with social media and the internet we have really abilities to connect these lead users to potentially peers. So lead users, if we here have the time, and here the number of users perceiving the need. So normally normally big companies will enter a market when a lot of people already have this need. But lead users are entering a market when no one else has this need yet, but they are no freaks. If they would be free, also in future no one would have the need. So they have a need today that in the future the market will have. And there are a lot of examples of lead users, mainly in B2B. So most medical equipment, like surgery equipment, scanning, X-rays, and so on, which is sold by Siemens, Philips, GE, has not been invented by Philips, Siemens, GE, but is invented by individual doctors, a few doctors, which somehow have an idea for a new operations measure. They see a new insight, perhaps they are professors at the same time and want to publish a paper, and so they invent the thing, and later it's transferred to the market. And actually, I'll skip that, I'll skip this. In banking, it's a very great thing. There was a nice study that about 85% of all new banking services, which are offered by the 5 largest US banks, have not been invented by the bank, but are the result of users, mainly professional users. So there's a study, if you see here, relationship method, email banking, online banking, auto bill pay billing, telephone banking, mobile banking, debit checking cards. All this is not the outcome of an innovation process by a financial institution, but it has been invented by users who were just doing it for their own sake. So it's pretty big, and there's been a large study now on the national level, and like for the UK, it has been estimated that just average consumers in the UK spend 1.4 times more for innovation than all British companies together. And if you look for these numbers for Japan or US, you see it's a little bit smaller, so it's not really, but at least even in the US, consumers spend about 1/3 of all spendings of companies for innovation for themselves to innovate. So it's really big. And it always has been like that. The interesting thing is now that we really can connect it. And this is the idea of co-creation. So the idea of co-creation is that as a company, you set up a strategy to really incorporate this input from all these lead users, that it's not a random process, but that you really get these people into the system. And of course, you mainly would like to have people with lead user characteristics. Let me go back to this slide. It's really important who lead users are. So if we have here your market, you have your general customers and your heavy users. You have even your best customers. Then you have some expertise customers, so very educated customers. But they all are no lead users. Lead users are very few people, very, very few people people, often they are not your customers. As if they would be your customers, they are satisfied with what you are offering, so they don't have to innovate. So therefore we call it users. They are somehow in the same domain, but they are really in an extreme field. So they have very extreme conditions, very demanding conditions very often. And this is why they innovate as no commercial solution is. And there. So this is very important to come to this. Lead users are not the majority of your customers. There are very, very few lead users, and most people are lead users only once in their life. There are some agencies selling lead user panels, which is stupid by definition. As lead users, you're once or twice in your life a lead user. But of course, you can call many things people lead user, but the original theory is really people that invent a product before even manufacturers see. Okay, so really to continue, so how is this different from really using customer input for other ways? So traditionally, if we are a company and we want to know what our customers want for a new product, we have three possibilities. We can talk to people and do market research, which are called interact. We can observe people, and we can build with people, which will be co-creation. So let's very briefly go into market research to really show you that co-creation is very different to market research. So what does market research mean? Market research means we survey people. And what is the holy grail of market research? That it's representative. So if you do market research, you really want to sample people that it represents the target population. And we have a lot of statistical methods to calculate if we do this or not. But as I said before, the problem with market is normal people are not innovative. So your customer is not innovative. Regular customers want the same, but better and cheaper. And Henry Ford once said this: if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. As a normal customer can't imagine the car. So this is, first of all, market research is very important. But with market research, you can verify something, so it comes at a later stage. But you never will get innovative ideas. And in general, I think from talking to customers, you don't get innovative ideas. You get a lot of ideas for improvement. You get a lot of ideas for better variants. But you will probably only by chance get an idea for really a breakthrough product. Okay, so then there's the next thing what you can do, and this is now getting closer to co-creation. You can observe customers. This has been done by some companies already in the past successfully. As I said, well, if I observe people, we really can understand the hidden intention. So if I ask you what you like about your cell phone, you don't know, as you modified your behavior. But if I observe how you use your cell phone, I will realize that perhaps there are some things we could improve, but you are not aware of. And traditionally that was quite complicated. The good thing is now you can really observe people very efficiently on the internet. And this is called ethnography. So really overcoming the problem that customers really don't want to know what they need. And ethnography is a mixture of internet and ethnography. And you know ethnographers, they go around the world and observe foreign tribes. And the nice thing is that nowadays, if you are someone with lead user characteristics, and if you have an idea, very often nowadays you don't keep it by yourself, but you will be on an internet forum or somewhere sharing your ideas. So I show you a case from a company with Hive, where I'm in the board, so it's a little bit of advertisement, but the case is different. So our client was a big coffee company. And this company making coffee, they were too late. They lost the trend of Nespresso with the capsules and so on. So they just have traditional coffee. And I don't know about Serbia, but in Germany at least, traditional coffee, people die away that drink filter coffee. All the young people want espresso coffee and Nespresso and all that. So they are a big brand, but they're in a desperate need. And they said, okay, we need a really radical idea how we can grow our coffee business. And then with Hive, we looked on the internet, and there are many communities where people talk about coffee. And these are communities not organized by a company, but by users. So just two of them, Coffee Net's a German site, and Coffee Geek an American site, with here 340,000 users, just talking about coffee. And what are they doing there? Well, first they upload pictures of their kitchen and their coffee machine. And it gives you already quite nice insights. Normally you would have to pay a lot of an agency for home visits. And then they talk, of course, a lot about recipes. But then there was one community, and now you see already these are no normal people. They are more in the freak category, which are hacking their coffee machines. So these here, they put sensors into their coffee machine to really control the temperature. And then connect the coffee machine with the internet to exchange programs of the coffee machine. And these are not companies, they are engineering people that just love coffee and have some engineering skills. And they really describe very modified explanations how to hack your coffee machine and tweak it to your local, water, air pressure, and all these things. And so this is actually now available. There were some coffee machine makers that now have internet-connected coffee machines where you can upload new programs. But this kind, which is now patented and brought to market, was in these communities much earlier. But then what we found was, and I can share this, there also was an entire community of people that talked about roasting coffee at their homes. This is something what we normally do. They were just coffee enthusiasts and they wanted to roast their coffee. And some were using their, garment dryers, the drying machines to roast coffee. And they were sharing how to modify a drying machine to roast coffee. And there were some that said, we use these cheap popcorn makers. Perhaps you use it. It's like an air blower with it, cheap machine, 30 euros. And they modified this machine to roast their own coffee. And out of this now you can develop a very nice business idea, which is not on the market, but which could be a very profitable niche. So this company is now thinking about really selling proper home roasting machines. We can sell you green coffee, we can sell you flavors, so it adds up to a nice business model. Not invented by the company, but just copied from some people. And so, you see, these people are no normal customers. They are really extreme customers. But the interesting point is now once what you get out of this, then you still need traditional market research to test if this as idea something where there's a market. Are these lead users or are these freaks? Okay, so ethnography is really offering a lot of things and it's not so difficult. You only need some people that are trained in internet research. The larger problem, however, is that some of these communities, there are so many comments that it's like finding a needle in the haystack to really find the innovative elements. But there are now some nice computer scientists, as in about 1 or 2 years, I would say 1 year, we have commercial algorithms. So you send a robot to such a site, and out of 50,000 postings, they identify the 1,000 that we should give a look up. And there's a second company, the Allego, where I'm on the board, and I think they at the moment have the best algorithm for that. And it's really getting much cheaper and easier to analyze all these input, but you also can do it traditionally. Okay, so now moving to customer co-creation. And I used the word a lot, but I didn't define it. So customer co-creation for me is an active, creative, and social process which is initiated by a company to really tap into this knowledge of users and external experts. And so that's the difference with ethnography. It's not really a collaboration, you're just observing people. So co-creation is involving people and really collaborating between them in an open way. And to show it in this picture, perhaps traditionally in market research, you have a client, you hire an agency, and it's a one-to-one relationship. In co-creation, it's really a mixture. You may have a facilitator, an agency, but users are talking to themselves, users are talking to the companies, so it's a really much more collaborative environment. And of course, the objective is, if you talk about innovation, we can do co-creation for many things. But if we talk about innovation, we want to co-create with people with lead user characteristics. Exactly these people that would go to quirky. It's people that have a lead user idea, but don't have the effort, motivation, or money to turn their idea into a product and become an own event. And this is really the idea. So it's really from our perspective, and I'm really looking forward to see how Marcel sees it, as there are different interpretations of the terms, and nothing is correct or wrong. But for us, it's really, we don't want to co-create with everyone, but we want to co-create with people that have this lead user insights, and those are the ones that will help us really for radical product innovation. And so you can do a co-creation along the entire innovation cycle. So you can start with an ethnography as customer insight, but as I said, it's not really an interaction, it's observing people. Then you have the lead user method. It's a traditional method. I don't go into it. It's very well documented on the internet to work in a workshop kind of setting with these lead users. And what I will go explain as ideation with idea contests, a little bit on toolkits, and you also, of course, can co-create in the testing stage for marketing communication. A lot of co-creation is taking place in after sales. So the IT company is entirely outsourced, the help desk and all those things to the users since quite a long time. So it's also kind of co-creation. Now probably the number one method are idea contests, which are now taking place. So an idea contest is an internet setup, and it's like a platform where, how we see it, to a dedicated topic, people are invited to submit ideas. And we did another one with a coffee company, so I was, no, I don't have the coffee example, but with another consumer good company here, I will show you in a second. So it's important, it's an open channel, but it's not a complaint plan. So it's really a campaign, 6 weeks, a dedicated challenge, and then there's a contest. So people really compete with each other, and that should steer motivation. So this is a quite nice example. Nowadays, probably the next car you will buy will have something like an app store. So all the big companies are now heavily investing in apps and in kind of platforms. Some integrate iTunes, others have different. And this was a project from 2 years ago when Volkswagen was going to enter this market, but at Volkswagen they have no idea at all about apps. They know a lot about motors and cars and chassis and perhaps navigation systems, but they don't know nothing about apps. And so they said, okay, we do a contest at my right, and invited everyone to submit ideas for apps that are specifically useful if you have it on the car screen, not on the iPhone in the car. And everyone could participate, and you really should upload small programs or mock-up of programs. And really quite some people participated, 528 minutes, they got about 100 working apps and so on. So it was for them a very cheap and broad way to really tap into the crowd to see what are people thinking about if they talk about apps. This is an example I know a little bit better. I was involved in this one. So this is of Swirl. Swirl is a German consumer brand, and they make household cleaning items and vacuum cleaner bags and garbage bags, like Toppets. I don't know what's the brand here. And so they did a contest, and they called it the Smell Fighters. So the challenge was, we want ideas to prevent bad smell in the household. When I heard about it, I said, such a stupid idea. It's a negative topic, who will contribute? Well, it turned out quite a lot of people. And you were not allowed to submit perfume, so you had to really submit prototypes or ideas for people to kill the smell, not to overtune it. And so it was on the website, you could upload your ideas, and then all these websites, it's not a closed box, it's collaboration among people, so it's like a wiki system. Someone submits an idea, others comment on it, they versionate it, and ideas are getting better and better. So these are some of the ideas we got. And this was a winning idea. So you can't see it here. It is a shoe. What is a shoe spanner of the Germans in English? It's the wooden thing or the plastic thing you put in a shoe to keep it in space, in shape. You know that? Okay. So and the problem here was your stinking sneakers. As you know, sport shoes often start to stink because of bacteria from this. So they said we have a plastic shoe spanner, and in this we put a small tablet, and the tablet is killing the bacteria, so it's like a razor blade model. We give away this plastic thing very cheaply, and you continuously buy the tablet. Nice idea for a real problem that many people have. And as this company was doing vacuum cleaner bags, it was very logical for them with such a reselling thing. And about, I don't know if I have it here now, they got about 250 of really concrete ideas. And who are submitting these ideas? So, when would you submit an idea, and how you find people that have submit an idea for stinking, for preventing bad smell? If you would ask your customers, well, that's probably not. So 50% of the people that participate are industrial designers, like you. So professionals, people that studied this to do this for a profession, why are they contributing? Any idea? Well, as not everyone is so lucky like you to get a job in a big company, but a lot of industrial designers are independent, young, and so on. And for them, it's a big chance to get in contact with a big brand. And actually, it turned out that if you study industrial design in school, in university, you make about 50 or plus inventions and concepts anyway. So you have it for free. In your drawer is full of household items. You just submit it again. Your cost is very low. But then you also had some really desperate housewives, perhaps with very stinking husbands, and they really came up with an idea. And how you get the desperate husband, the desperate partner. But how you get the desperate housewife? If you make TV advertisement, the best is Google AdWords. So normally what we buy Google AdWords. And so if someone is Googling for the problem, you know, like stinking sneakers, as these are people that already have a problem, they get the invitation to the contest. So we really, and this is most of the things where it's not, the website is not so difficult, but it's really, you need quite some skills to reach these people. There are very few out there that they get over the course of 6 weeks when the contest is over, the invitation to this. This was another project for Hypo Vereinsbank, a big and Unicredit, so a big Italian bank with a German branch. And they did such a contest with their employees. So they did a contest, they invited 6,000 of their sales associates, which are all in the retail banks, and the idea was, if I would be my client. And so they said, it's not some marketing people or some, you know, product developers in the headquarters, but we should say 6,000 employees should participate in creating new banking services, auxiliary services. They could submit everything to enhance customer satisfaction. And more than 2,800 participated. Out of 6,000 potential, 2,800 participated. So it's really quite a lot. And yeah. So, and what we know now, there are many companies, so this is one of the sites, how they look like. There's a dominant size, the sites more or less look all the same. There are about 100 agencies in the world, at least, that say we are doing co-creation, and many sell software. And the software, and this is a problem for this company Hive, we used to charge 80 to 100,000 euros per project. Now, a better software you get as a web service from the US for less than $1,000. So, where we used to charge 100,000 euros, now you get exactly the same platform for $1,000. As there are people that do it exactly what is your with web services. But the thing is, while we are still confident with Hive that we are not out of business, it's much more than software. So it's really, you have to know how to prepare, how to ask the right question, how to set the right incentives. You have to really know how to find these people. If you just put it on your website, you probably don't get good people. If you recruit people, well, you miss people as then you think who should participate, but you never will get the lead users. And of course, you have to manage participation, you have to manage IP. You have to evaluate also how to evaluate these ideas, pick the right winners. It's not so simple. You have to extract the ideas, you have to recognize them. So it's really a much larger set of capabilities. We were talking a lot about capabilities for mass customization yesterday. And so with other students, in the larger stream of my research, we are now talking about these capabilities or governance structures for co-creation, where we also find that really companies that do it successfully need a different set of capabilities. And of course, here's also the match to social media, and you can see it in the handout. Of course, also we can use now social media to really enhance participation, collaboration, and the success of these things. So, in general, these idea contests are great. They're really getting cheap. And you can do it for everything. You can do it in your neighborhood street. You know, if with 100 neighbors you want to decorate your street, well, just do an idea contest. It's possible. We can do an idea contest here with these people to improve the conference. Very cheaply, easily possible. However, the problem is the more successful they get, and the more ideas you get, the difficult it is to, again, pick the right idea. It's somehow you also have to really get people still to participate in it. And it has to be part of your strategy, as otherwise you miss the most important success factor now coming to the dark side. So what many companies do as a mistake nowadays, they see co-creation and they think, oh, all these free employees and they all work for me for nothing, happy. No. So really the three things is show respect, show respect, show respect. As what happens if you don't do it is that customers take over. So here's a nice example by Henkel. You know Henkel is one of the largest German consumer brands. And they had an idea contest for Priel. Priel is the #1 dishwasher detergent. And they said, okay, the contest was just for these graphic designers, but they designed the package, then everyone can vote, and the best package we bring to supermarkets. Well, when people participated, and they were probably thinking of some layouts like this, like spring. But then there was suddenly some designer, and he submitted a Priel with chicken flavor. So that Priel tastes like chicken. Stupid, of course. But it went well, and it got the most votes on Facebook. And as Henkel said in the terms and conditions, the one thing with the most votes we will bring to market, well, they now had to bring chicken flavored dishwasher detergent. They changed the rules of the games, of course they didn't it, and everyone was questioning about it, they were cheating, and it was elected the worst marketing, the largest marketing flop of 2011. So it totally destroyed everything what they want to do, and now everyone in Henkel is very, very afraid about these users, and we just started a larger project to really go back into social co-creation with Henkel and to teach them a little bit. And if you say, but you can do it differently. There was another example that's not really innovation, but Otto, the big catalog. They were just saying, okay, we do it like a model contest, and it's not really. This was the best example I could find. And they said, okay, just submit your picture, and if you are beautiful, you come on top of the catalog. And they were probably targeting people like this, as she was #2 or #1 for many weeks. But then, this kind of thing. Again, one of these industrial designers, or it was a computer programmer, said, oh, probably after some beers, they make some fun out of Otto. And everyone liked it, and he became #1. So what other they did, they made a professional shooting with him and indeed put them on the catalog. And of course now they are the hero and everyone likes Otto. So this is just one of the capabilities in companies. And I have one PhD student and she just looks into these hacks. And we found in almost every co-creation contest, we have a lot of people that really start to hack these to, it's like graffiti. It's like virtual graffiti. As many of these, especially from the design community, they say these companies are just exploiting people. They're not really sharing the benefits. And so it really it's a little bit more behind it that we have to be fair with people. So we really need to build special capabilities here to co-create. And coming to a closer, but I would say it's really worthwhile to do. As there are so many contributors that really could participate, and so many still untapped resources. It's traditionally, when we talk about co-creation or social media, we talk about young people, young internet people. But in one project we say, no, there's so many or more people, and there's people that have much more experience. So we have one project where we say we want to co-create on the internet with people 70 plus. So our target here is 70 plus, only on the internet. As this is a real problem. As this is a big growing market, it's a senior market, very rich market, they have a lot of money, at least in Germany. And traditionally, well, if you are a young designer, so I pick you as an industrial designer, and you want to make a nice computer, let's say for senior citizens, what you do is you put a senior simulator. So their senior simulator is huge, and you put it on as a product developer, and then you can feel like old people. So, and of course, it may be good to simulate their, ergonomic, but of course, it will not change the mind and so on. And we said, no, it's not about innovating for them, but let them innovate. And we did it with a cell phone. And so I have to steal your cell phone again. But this is the opposite. Okay, we don't know senior citizen cell phone? No. Okay, you know senior citizen cell phones? How they look like? They are big buttons, big battery. Yeah, Cipriano. Okay, thank you. Cipriano. But nobody's even a bigger screen. But like this, no functionality, very boring, very simple to operate, and all seniors are stupid. So we did a contest on the internet to design the best cell phone for senior citizens. We did it with Emporia. You may not know Emporia, they are an Austrian Hong Kong company, and they are the world market leader in this domain. And when they did the contest, Emporia has the same market share as the iPhone in Germany. So it's a big company, it's a big market, same market share as the iPhone. Okay, so we did it. And the cell phone was called Einfacher Telefonieren, so making calling simple. And the agency we did it with, they told us don't discriminate for age. So everyone could contribute. And so we had about 50% young people, like us. In fact, we contributed, we were thinking of our parents. And the young people, they submitted ideas like medical tracking, heartbeat. We had a grandfather GPS, so grandpa is lost in the city, we can identify him. So a lot of logical things, they were good, but they were not really radical, as there's been a lot of research on these medical services and so on. But about 50% were people from the target group. And to reach the target group, we put an invitation into the retirement letters, you get from the government. Or we work with senior clubs to invite them to do it also offline and so on. And from the people from the target group, no one submitted medical tracking, but they had a dating functionality. They had social networking. They only had hedonistic things. They wanted to have nice design features. So actually they wanted something like the iPhone. It was very obviously. They don't wanted a phone like Cipriano. Something like this. So this was one of the winning ideas from a younger guy. It was a really very good emergency system. But then the winning idea was the S-phone. And this was the S-phone. You can still Google it. It is so cool. You want to have it. It's the best. It's much better than the iPhone. So honestly, this is a big touch screen, and it has a slider function. So to put it up, you slide this, so it's much more intuitive to take a call. You can totally program it and so on. It's beautiful, and that was really a nice thing. And I was in the jury, and then I Googled this. And you saw already this guy, Lars Hoppe, he's one of the younger guys. But then it was not his idea. This was not submitted by old people, but by a community of people calling themselves art workers. And these are people with autism. And people with autism normally are on social welfare. As people with autism, normally they are not able to do a normal job. But they realize there are now all these cooperation contests where they can organize themselves over the internet and they can contribute to these things. And no one knows that they are autists. So therefore, they get a fair chance. As otherwise, you will say, oh, they're people with illness, so probably it's a freaky idea. No, they just can contribute there. And this is what we now think about. Probably old people don't luckily have all autism. But many of them have a little bit. They don't want to work in a traditional environment anymore. So what we are now building with a big government project, a community where you have older people, like a quirky for senior citizens. You have older people submitting ideas for products they really want. But then you really have a lot of old people that have a lot of experience. They may be a retired professor in engineering. And so these people can contribute to really build it, and together with some firm partners. So and I think then co-creation really, and these people, we saw it from our contest we did now several others after the cell phone. These people are really motivated for the social exchange. They don't want the money. They want to have something where they can use their experience. And so I would say for co-creation there's so much capacity. You know what this is? 200 billion? It's just the amount of hours watching TV per year in the US. Only in the US. To put it in relation, with 200 billion hours of television, you can build the entire Wikipedia system 2,000 times from the scratch every year. The entire Wikipedia. So for half a promille of the TV consumption, we can build the entire Wikipedia system. So for 1 promille of our TV consumption, we can do a lot of co-creation. So it's not that we have too little time, but we waste much too much time. And so the real question not is really how to moderate, but how can we build as a company strategies to build this, to get this cognitive surplus. It's a great book by Shirky from New York Stern, who talks about this cognitive surplus. And there's so much overcapacity of people that are clever, but that normally are not integrated. And they may be in a company, this may be the women in the cafeteria, she may have good ideas, but normally we don't incorporate in the innovation process. Or maybe other people in the user domain. So this is co-creation, and I think really after talking many years about mass customization, we can even talk many more years about co-creation. As we now know it works, we're just at the beginning, but it's not really that we would have really strategies and knowledge about companies, how to